Yo bros, welcome to our very first ever custom mod and custom swirling. Today we're going to be doing the Nerf Triad. If you guys are here just to learn how you can win the Nerf Triad for free, you can go ahead and click in the description down below or this link right here to take you to the end of the video and you can learn how you can win that Nerf Triad. But if you're here for the custom mod and the swirling, stick around and we'll get to that stuff later. So let's get into it. Alright, so I just picked up this Nerf Triad from Walmart for about $8, and for the size and capacity of what you get, it's a pretty good price. So my first thought is, this gun looks pretty sweet. It doesn't seem too flunky, it doesn't look weird, so that's always a bonus. Looks like you got 3 elite darts, pump on the bottom right here, pull it down, fire. It's got pressure plates so it knows which one is loaded with darts. It says it can shoot up to 90 feet. I really doubt that, but we'll go ahead and see. Alright, so I'm not a crazy guy about unboxings, because most of the time the guys who do those, they really don't know what they're talking about. Just really boring. They really don't talk about much, so I'm just going to go ahead and get straight into it. It's a pull down trigger, it's fairly easy, it's really light. That's a pretty quiet sound. The blaster again is pretty small, pretty light handed. I wouldn't really keep it as a sidearm though in a Nerf fight. Darts are basic, normal elite darts. That seems pretty good. It seems pretty powerful. I would think this is a pretty good sidearm. Looks like, just from the look of it, it's got air restrictors inside. We're going to leave just the smaller parts of the air restrictor, but the big ones we're going to take out just so we can get some more air in there, because I know there are pressure plates in and I really don't want to screw that up. This thing looks like it will be really tricky to take apart because it's got bolts on this side right here. It might be very tricky to take off. Hopefully it's not going to be too much work. I can get it off without much of a hitch. If you guys are following along at home, you're going to go ahead and get a 5-gallon bucket. I don't want to show because it's kind of too big and bulky for this. And you're also going to want to put in a table of this borax detergent, and then you're going to put one in a tablespoon for every single, I think it's every gallon. Yeah, a gallon of warm, like luke water, not hot, not cold, of water to every tablespoon of borax. So if you fill it about half whole, usually what I do, you get about 2.5 to 3. And if you don't get it's precise, it's not super huge. These are the colors I'm going to be using today. I'm going to be using a green. The quick color is you're probably just going to use for the handle down here, and the orange, cover piece up here. Going to use a white Rust-Oleum paint and primer so it'll help stick. I'm going to do a little bit of sanding on the gun. Probably not take out the cymbals, they're not really obnoxious. I really don't mind the cymbals, I know some guys do. But just to help the paint get a better stick on it. And then we're also going to use this. This is called Gloss Clear. It's Rust-Oleum as well, bonds to plastic. It's a 2x2 ultra cover. But make sure you get the gloss. There is a different kind. I don't remember what the name is. Make sure it's a gloss clear. It'll help seal and protect the paint so it doesn't wear off so fast. Alright, so as you can already see, I've already taken the blaster apart. There's actually really not much you can do. You can take this piece off, and that's really all you can take off the Nerf Triad. It's a really small gun, but it's really easy, but it can also be super dangerous if you don't do this right. You can ruin the gun. So, first thing you want to do is we're going to take some duct tape. We're going to go ahead and try to plug up these holes so when we put the paint on, it doesn't get inside this thing and clog it all up. Same right here, we're going to just put a little rim piece around here and make sure it doesn't get in there and ruin any of the movable parts. Alright, so you can clearly see it's not really the best job, but you don't need to really have a perfect concealment of the insides because it's not going to really get in there. You just don't want it touching anything, so as long as you get a really good cover, it's going to fall on the duct tape, and it won't go any farther than that, which is good because what we want. So I'm going to go ahead and do the bottom now. Alright, so with a bit of work, I finally got it mainly covered, so we got all the holes covered. We're going to go ahead and get the dipping solution, ready, and then we'll go ahead and dip this thing, and it'll come out really nice and new. Alright, so now we got the solution, it's sitting, we're waiting for it to dry. We're going to go ahead and take this piece apart, see right there, pretty simple process. Oops, I think the screw dropped in here. So you got the plastic screw, this sets right on top. It's got a mold in here for that cross piece. This is just gonna go, the screw will go right in here and you'll twist it right back on. Pretty simple. We're gonna go ahead and spray paint this thing black and go ahead and give it a spray over of the clear gloss, and then once everything is done, we're gonna go ahead and put it back together and see how it looks. Alright, so we got two pieces. I actually decided to take the very bottom of the piece. The blue doesn't actually match the other blue on the gun, it's a bit lighter. So we're gonna go ahead and take these things, give it a quick spray over of the black, let it dry for about 10-15 minutes. You don't really need to let it dry the entire way, I find. That's my personal opinion. If you want to stay safe, do that way, totally fine. Then once we're done with that, I'm gonna go ahead and put the gloss on and see how it looks. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and let that thing sit. About 30 minutes, we'll come back to it and flip it over to another side, and then we'll put the gloss on and this thing will be ready to go. Alright, so I got some newspaper just around the cover because you're going to have to spray from pretty far away before you get this started. All I would say is, I've put the borax in already, giving it a good stir. Make sure if you've done this before, you can see the bottom. I have some pieces that are sticking to the bottom. As long as they don't float to the top, it's okay because they'll get on and mixed with the paint. And they'll have like this weird old paint looking blotch, and that's not okay. So we're going to go ahead and start on the green, and then we'll do some black, because I want a predominantly green with black in it. And I'm using a, I'll show you right over here. I'm using just a plastic fork, sticking it upside and pushing it really as far as it can to the breaking point, but not breaking it. Because otherwise, if you do it loose, that thing will fall off, drop in, and that can be really bad for you. So I'm actually out of the Rust-Oleum paint, so I figured since we're testing, I'm just going to use Quick Color Black instead. So we're going to go ahead and get this started now. Two quick last things. I'm going to be using toothpicks to push along and make the stripes. Obviously, I know you guys saw me in an orange jacket earlier. I've taken on, and you can see I'm wearing a white shirt now, because you really don't want to get nice stuff like jackets covered in paint. So obviously make sure you're wearing the proper stuff. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get this started. So we're going to go ahead and start with green, do about maybe one green, then a black, then like two green. Continue from there. Alright, I think that's pretty good. Go ahead and give it a couple stirs. If you don't like the color, just go ahead and take a newspaper. The newspaper will stick to the stuff really nice. I'm gonna dump out the water. If you don't want to, that's fine, but I would recommend dumping out the water. As you can see, some of the paint is sticking. It's not really what I wanted. I might just go ahead and restart, because the paint, a couple things in the factor. Water could be too warm. See, so you see, like this stuff is basically sticking to the wood, and it's dropping back in, and yeah, that's gonna make the paint look bad. So go ahead and collect the paint up and retry again. All right, so we got some new water. I'm putting in a little borax now. I've just kind of learned from doing this enough times to know when is enough borax. He had a pretty good cloud solution like that. I'm thinking that's the problem was before. Usually when you have enough borax, you should barely or not at all be able to see the bottom. So I mean I could see the bottom. So in the previous, that's probably why. So we're gonna go ahead and give this a second try. I'm also gonna point the paint a bit farther away just to make sure I'm not spraying it on too heavy. So here we go. Alright, I mean, it looks pretty good. Let's grab another toothpick here. Get this thing slicing. So this time it's actually working a lot better. I don't quite have enough paint on there, but I mean, plus side, I do know now what was the problem before. I mean, usually it's gonna take a couple of tries. It's different. Every person tries different things, and different things will work. Sometimes we'll try to stick to the side. Don't be aware that I'm getting lots of clumps still, but the thing is actually picking up more black than green, which is kind of what I wanted, so I think that's actually a good thing. I mean, it looks pretty good to me. We're going to go ahead and spray a couple more layers of black in there and green and see how this works. Alright, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and take another toothpick, run this thing back through it. Alright, let's see what we get. Alright, so I actually switched to a satin. This is a satin aqua. You can see right there. So, I'm hoping that the satin, I mean, look right there, it's already kind of twisting and twisting itself. I mean, it looks pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and try striping through this thing. If this works, hopefully it'll work. No promises. If it works, we'll go ahead and dip it. If not, we're going to go ahead and try some other paint and see if that will work instead. So, here we go. Alright, we're just going to go ahead and give that a second to settle. Once it's all collected together, go ahead and dip the Triad in and hopefully get some results on this thing. Alright. Looks pretty good. Alright guys, here we go. Oh, yeah, can't forget that newspaper. Alright, so I got some newspaper here, and the reason I have it, I don't know if you might have already seen when I took it and I cut out the stuff, is because when I dip this gun back in, if I pull it back up, it's going to do doubled layer, which well, obviously it will look nasty and the paint will all be uneven. So once you put it in, you're going to want to take this newspaper and the paint is going to stick to it really well. So I'm going to go ahead and dip this thing in now. Trick is to do it slowly. Alrighty, so now we got this. It's putting water in all the mechanisms, which I mean I knew it was gonna happen. So this thing's basically trying to just get it all away. Keep this thing submerged as best as possible. Alright, I'm gonna lift this thing out. Alright, I don't know what you guys think, but that to me, a little water there. Has to clean out the mechanisms with some, maybe stick it in some sand. Alright, there you are. little cut off here on the end. I'm gonna plan on painting that by hand black anyway, so not too much worry there. We'll go ahead and see how this thing looks, and we'll put some spray on here, clean off this trigger, and we should be good to go. Alright, so I've already put the screws back in. This thing is all ready to go. Couple of mistakes that I think were kind of inevitable because I can't really take this thing apart very much. Right around the trigger, it didn't exactly get all the paint job done, but that's not too big of a problem. Another thing was some of the paint is coming off. I obviously didn't put enough of the gloss on it. I'll have to do better on that. It could also just be that it's just too tight around that open area where the trigger mechanism, I'm sorry, not the trigger mechanism, the pull mechanism works. I don't know why I'm dry firing it, but we're gonna go ahead now and with the improvements, gonna see how well this thing shoots down range. Alright, so basically what I've done is I've beefed up the suspension by putting in just a slightly bigger spring in the Triad. That's hopefully going to help it get a little bit more range. So we're going to go ahead and do the test now. I've got 3 full bullets. Going to empty them into that chair bag over there and see if I can hit it. This is going to be testing accuracy and distance. Miss. Miss. And that was a miss too. So the thing, not terribly accurate. I mean, it's a pretty small gun. I would say if this was like, not my sidearm, but probably like my backup sidearm, I would definitely go with this thing. It's pretty light. If I'm like totally out of ammo, I've got nothing else, it's pretty easy and fast to load bullets in. You don't have to load in a certain one. So yeah, that was... Okay, so that was the Nerf Triad swirl and modification. If you guys like this, please let us know. Subscribe if you really enjoyed our channel. Go check out some of our other videos. They'll be posted somewhere around me. Now we're going to go ahead and show you guys directions how you can win this free Nerf Triad. Alright, so for those of you who are just interested in learning how you can win that Nerf Triad, go ahead. You're going to need to subscribe to our channel, like our Facebook page, and comment below with your 2 favorite colors that you'd like to see in the next swirling. And we're going to pick a random winner on March 1st, I believe. So the winner will be announced. We will send you a message on YouTube if you want to go ahead and just give us your Facebook name, and we can do that too, or an email. We'll send it to you however you prefer. So thanks again, guys, so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.